towards next session, which is about the camel production and reproduction. And it is also one of the main theme in any area, in any organisms for the future life continuation. The session chair will be Professor Dr. Zafar Iqbal Qureshi, who is hold the ex-dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences, University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, currently working as professor and Dean of Theriogenology Department, Faculty of Veterinary Sciences, University of Agriculture, Faisalabad. His research areas are basically the reproductive management in large and small ruminants, especially the specialization in the camel. And he has also reported the first camel calf birth through artificial insemination in Pakistan. He has special interest on the reproductive biotechnology and camel reproduction. Over to Professor Dr. Zafar Iqbal Qureshi.
Assalamu alaikum to everybody. Are you sharing the screen?
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Okay.
It.
And what about the voice? Voice volume is enough to properly understand the things?
Yes, sir. It's perfect.
Okay. First of all, congratulations to administration of the Arid Agriculture, Pir Mahar Ali Shah Arid Agriculture University for arranging a much needed event to knock the doors of all concerned for the development of the camel and to save the future nation from the starvation. I will talk about the reproductive biotechnologies in camelids, the challenges and opportunities. Now, camelids, all we know that it occupies a unique place among livestock of tropical and subtropical regions of the world. It plays a significant role in the socio-economic sector of the community as well as of the country, and unique attributes for food production in arid and semi-arid, mountainous and the desert areas where long-term survival of other animal species is hardly possible. It is important food supply chain in terms of milk and meat, also provide transportation, hides, wool and sports activity to the many countries. And camel milk, meat and their byproducts are now commercially available in superstore markets of many countries of the world. And keeping in view the nutritive and the therapeutic qualities of the camel milk and meat and future food insecurity threats has drawn the attention of the animal scientists and researchers. Camel belong to order Artiodactyla, suborder Tylopoda, family Camelidae, subfamily Camelini and Lamini, genus Camelus, and there are 3 species: Camelus dromedarius, Camelus bactrianus, Camelus ferus, and Camelus bactrian and Camelus dromedary are the domesticated species, while this one, last one, ferus, this is the wild species. In the Laminus, there are 2 strains, Lama and Vicigna, Lama glama and Lama gnaco, and Vicigna pecos, also known as the alpaca, and Vicigna vacona. Among these, the Lama and the alpaca are the domesticated species, while other are the wild species. Now, the dromedarius camel, actually, the number of the large camel, it is about 35 million, and mostly is the Camelus dromedarius, about 91 to 94%. And these animals are used for the food purpose and as a working animal. It is a vital mean of transport for the passengers, as well as for the cargo purpose. And the wool and the fiber hides are used in the leather and in the textile industry. This dromedarius camel, it is present in the Middle East, in the South Asian countries, and in the African countries, while this Bactrian camel, in a considerable number, it is present in the Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan.
प्रेजेंटेशन में स्क्रीन खुद ही शेयर कर, मेरा भी था ना.
Hello. Hello. हेलो
सर कुछ नहीं, मैम फिरोजा के बीच में था, वो किसी से बात करनी थी तो मैंने म्यूट कर दिया। कोई इशू नहीं, आप कंटिन्यू कर रहे थे।
शुड आई कंटिन्यू?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, definitely.
So Bactrian, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Russia, China, and Mongolia, and usually is used for milk, meat, wool, and hide purpose. And the South Asian camels, the small camels, and you might have noticed that they are the humpless. The dromedary, the Bactrian, and the Faris camels, they are with the humps, double hump, and with the single hump, and these all are the South Asian camels. They are the humpless. Their number is about 9 million, and they are present in the South Asian, in the South American countries of Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Chile, Argentine, and in USA. And usually they are used for the meat purpose. Milk, just 1 to 2 liter one can consume from the llama, and not from the other species. Their milk is just for their offspring. But in vacuna and alpaca, the wool and the fiber quality is the excellent one, right? So is a source of earning indeed. Now, if we look at the reproductive traits in male camelids, at the time of birth, the testicular descent, that is completed one in all the species. And puberty, it is in case of Camelus dromedarius, it is from 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years in case of Bactrian, and it is 15 to 24 in case of alpaca, and 15 to 24 in case of llama, because these two are the domesticated species. So that's why much of the data is available on these two species. But the other two species are assumed to have the more or less the same figure. Here, the breeding is recommended. Breeding is recommended at 24 months of age. There is possibility that animal may show the puberty before, but the breeding is recommended at 24. Same is here. One is the pubertal age of the animal, and other is the recommended breedable age of the animal. So in these animals, in large camelids, there is possibility that may show, if the housing and managemental conditions are good, animal may show the puberty at 3 to 3.5, but the recommended breedable age is 3.5 to 4 years. And sexual maturity in dromedary, it is 5 to 6 years. In Bactrian, it is 5 years. It is 4 almost in case of alpaca and llama. And yes, they follow the seasonality in the reproduction pattern, while alpaca and in case of llama, there is possibility, or if the food is available. Hello. If the food is available, then there is possibility that it may go throughout the year. And mating duration 70 to 20 minutes in case of dromedarius, 3 to 20 minutes in case of Bactrian, 5 to 20 minutes in the case of alpaca, and 5 to 65 minutes in case of llama. Ejaculate volume, it is the concentration actually of the spermatozoa. Ejaculate volume is 2 to 13 ml. Is there any disturbance here? Dr. Mariam? Hello.
मैं भेजती हूँ साइट, उसमें से खोल के पहला पेज जो प्लाज्मिड का है ना 2 पेज का, वो प्रिंट आउट लेना.
Dr. Basanti, please mute your mic.
So,
thank you.
Here 2 to 13, 2.5 to 12.50, 0.4 to 4.3 ml, and here 0.2 to 7.9 ml. Total spermatozoa concentration, it is 600 to 5,690. For 14 in case of Bactrian, and 0.06 to 167 in case of alpaca, and 2.9 to 246 in case of llama. Motility percentage 20 to 80%, 70 to 90%, 80 to 85%, and 50 to 90%. And normal morphology of the spermatozoa, it is 40 to 70% in case of dromedarius, and 50 to 90 in case of Bactrian, 40 to 75 in case of alpaca, while it is 40 to 85 in case of llama. Now, puberty in case of female animal, in dromedary, the period is from 24 to 48, 24 to 48 months. In Bactrian, it is 18 to 24 months. In alpaca, it is 4 to 6 months. But again, I told you that it is not the animal may show the puberty here, but not the recommended breedable age. And then in llama, it is 6 to 8 months. Age at first breeding, yeah, it is 36 to 48, 24 to 36 in Bactrian, and 12 to 18 months in alpaca, and 15 to 18 months in case of llama. And here, the estrus cycle, actually, this term should not be used, or it is not recommended to use the term estrus cycle in case of camel. Rather, there are 3 phases. It is the follicular wave phase, and the growth phase, follicle maturation phase, follicle growth phase, follicle maturation phase, and follicle regression phase in case of non-mated animals. And if animals are mated here, then there will be formation of the corpus luteum after the ovulation. And this is the duration almost in dromedary, and Bactrian is the same, and it follows the same pattern in case of llama and in case of alpaca. And here, I will quit this, and maximum CL size animal attain after the ovulation in dromedary, it is almost 7.2 days. It is 7.3 in Bactrian. It is 7 to 8 days in case of alpaca, and it is 8 days in case of llama. The luteolysis, it starts actually on day 10 in dromedary, day 10, same in case of all the species. Embryo implantation, it occurs on day 14 in case of dromedary, 14 in Bactrian, 12 to 14 in case of alpaca, and 12 to 14 in case of llama. Pregnancy length, it is 330 to 396 days in case of dromedary, 74 to 419 days in case of Bactrian, 330 to 370 in case of alpaca, and 333 to 332 in case of llama. Uterine ovulation periods 20 to 45 days in case of dromedary, 20 to 40 days in case of Bactrian, 20 to 25 days in case of alpaca, and 70 to 20 days in case of llama. Postpartum ovarian activity, where the onset here is the big variation. It is from 14 to 300 days. Of course, it depends on the weather and the nutrition and the disease pattern. Here it is 20 to 300 days in case of Bactrian, but usually if conditions are favorable, in 4 to 5 months, they assume that. It is 20 to 100 days in case of alpaca, and 20 to 100 days in case of llama. Now, if at present, if the population growth rate, it remains same, there is possibility for the addition of 2.4 billion people up to 2015, and urbanization area expected to increase 3-fold by 2030. And climate change is another potential threat, adversely affects the crop and livestock productivity. In Asian and African countries, of course, agriculture is an outstanding national food and economic importance, because their economy and all the food pattern depend on the agriculture. So to overcome the issue, there is need to improve the production capacity of the crops and livestock, along with exploring of new resources for food production. The versatility of the camel and its suitability to survive and perform well in the hard, arid and semi-arid regions, along with its nutritive and the therapeutic value of the camel milk and meat, demands to explore camel as food animal instead of only desert sheep. In past, we are just using this thing. Now, generally, under the field conditions, the reproductive efficiency of the camelid is low, and the different causes are the short breeding season, the long pubertal period, long gestation period, long lactation period, poor management system, inadequate nutrition, and of course the insufficient knowledge and reproductive physiology and assisted reproductive biotechnological techniques. The common reproductive failure causes of the camelids, ovarian hypoplasia, follicular cyst, endometritis, ovarian cyst, ovarian tumors, uterus urinicornis, vaginal segmental aplasia, ovarian adhesions, and ovarian hydrobursitis. In my personal experience, ovarian hydrobursitis, I have seen much higher in case of camel as compared to rest of the species. And similarly, Dr. Saab, it is not only the ovarian adhesions, it is the adhesion of the reproductive tract. I have seen the cases where just a any injury at the time of mating was sufficient to block the whole reproductive tract, and animal was facing the problem at the time of parturition. So adhesion process of the reproductive tract, not only the ovarian but of the reproductive, are more high in camel as compared to rest of the species. Now, what are the gaps in improving the reproductive efficiency of the camel? Infertility still has not well defined in camel as compared to other animal species, and there is underuse of assisted reproductive technologies like artificial insemination, embryo transfer, and in vitro embryo production. The knowledge research regarding postpartum ovarian activity and its interaction with nutrition, management practice, and environment is still insufficient. Camel reproductive performance trials under field conditions are very rare, and data on the reproductive diseases, disorders on male and female camelet is also rare. Now, when we talk about, so we need to improve actually the productive and reproductive performance of the animal. So for improving that, of course, we need to improve the housing and managemental conditions for that. And then we need to go for the use or for the application of the reproductive biotechnologies in the camelets. So the first one is, as earlier I said, that the word estrous cycle preferably is not used in case of camel, and estrous synchronization is an important reproductive management tool where majority of animals are bred in shorter period of time, and camelets actually are the induced ovulator. So if not mated, follicle tends to regress after maturation. For this reason, it is appropriate to use the term follicle wave synchronization instead of estrous cycle, and it is recommended by the camel researchers. Right. Now, when we talk about the synchronization of the follicle wave in case of camel, it has been observed that if already there is follicle size more than 7 mm, it will adversely affect the growth of the other follicles. So first we need to go for the rupture of this follicle. This we can go by the aspiration and by the induction of ovulation, and it has been reported by the scientists. Now, back in Bactrian camel, it has been reported in 2011 that 2 injections of the GnRH at 4 days apart, it gives the good results. And ECG, equine chorionic gonadotrophin, at the dose rate of 1000 international unit on day 7 after the ovulation, and followed by the prostaglandin, also gives the good results. And the other method which is used for the synchronization, that is the use of the progesterone and intravaginal devices. 0.5 milligram of the progesterone responded better in llama. Otherwise, there are contradiction reports on the use of the CIDRs and on the use of the PRED. PRED generally containing 1.5 gram of the progesterone for 7 days completely fail in follicle wave synchronization in case of camel. It has been reported by the Skidmore in 1992. And 1.9 gram of the progesterone for 17 days. Here it is 7 days, here it is for 17 days, and followed by 3000 international unit of ECG, equine chorionic gonadotrophin. It shows the better results. Nargestomate implants are not effective in case of Bactrian camel, 2008, and daily progesterone injection, it is also used in case of some ruminants for the synchronization, and it also on day 12 you need to give it for 10 to 12 days. On day 12 it also decreases the follicular activity. It has been reported by the estradiol plus progesterone. It gives the good results. Now generally, whatever you use, along with this, we need to use the LH or LH like hormones to cause the ovulation, and for that the established one is the use of the GnRH. Usually it is used at the dose rate of 20 microgram intramuscular or intravenous, and then there is human chorionic gonadotrophin 3000 international unit. But here the other difference is almost it is also present in the other ruminants, that 85%, there will be 85% ovulation rate if follicle size is 1 to 1.9 centimeter, and the ovulation rate has been reduced by 30% where the follicle size was 2 to 2.9%, and there was no ovulation when the follicle size was 3 centimeters. So when we talk about the synchronization of the follicular wave, we also need to see what is the size of the, so use of the ultrasonography is the best option to measure the size of the day-to-day size of, or to measure the follicle dynamics, and then to use the hormones for the in-time ovulation of that. Challenges to this technique, there is development of large follicle. It has been observed, it has been reported by the scientists that when we use the different hormones which are available for the synchronization, there is formation of, after day 6 or 7, there is formation of large follicle, and these large follicles usually they affect the growth of the other follicles. And it has been observed that there is premature ovulations in some of the follicles. Although the spontaneous ovulation is not the feature of the camel, but in the synchronization, there is possibility for the spontaneous ovulation at the dose at the incidence rate of just 5%, not more than that. Now, artificial insemination, another technology which is used. This technique is used to enable more efficient use of genetically superior males and to prevent spread of venereal diseases, and it eliminates need for transportation of animals. And the artificial insemination is also used as a light technique for the embryo transfer and for the related techniques. Although the first report on artificial insemination, it was reported in 1961 in Bactrian camel, and the hybridization by the Skidmore, it was reported in 1992. And here the female camel was the dromedary, and the male and the semen of the gnecco was used, and the Skidmore reported the hybridization of old and new world in 1998. In dromedary camel, it was reported in 1992, 2009, 2013, and in New World camel, in South American camel, it was reported in 1968, and in Pakistan, in dromedary camel, it was first reported in 2021, and it was joint venture of University of Agriculture Faisalabad team and the livestock and dairy development. This experiment, actually, this was work of our postgraduate students, and they were given the work on the different aspects of different reproductive aspects of of camel, and artificial insemination actually was one. And here the semen, it was collected by the modified artificial vagina technique, and then the dose rate of 400 million was used for the insemination, and insemination was done in a Mricha female. 56 was the number of that, and insemination was done in the ipsilateral horn, and insemination was done on 8th of March 2020, and this animal delivered on 8th April 2021 after completing the gestation length of 12 months and 28 days, almost 13 months. Now, challenges to artificial insemination: that inadequate characterization of the genetic potential of different camel breeds. This camel is good for the racing purpose or good for the milk breed. This is we have the insufficient knowledge. Then the inconsistent output of the semen collection method. A number of methods have been used for the semen collection in case of camelids. Although the good results are with the artificial modified artificial vagina, but still we need a lot of work on that. Then there is poor post-ejaculation semen characteristics. It is due to gelatinous nature of the semen, and the experiment has been conducted. Either you keep that semen for 25 to 30 minutes in the water bath for the liquefaction, and then you can go for the evaluation of that semen, or the trypsin and the chymotrypsin enzymes are used at the rate of 5 to 10 international units in the semen for early liquefaction. But this gelatinous material adversely affect the seminal parameters. And fragility of the sperms diluted in extender subjected to cooling, freezing. So the for the cooling and for cooling rate and for the freezing, still a lot of work is required. And then of course the artificial induction of ovulation is required. with the artificial insemination, and there is inadequate standardization of the semen dilution rate, sperm per dose, because the reference are available with the 70 millions, with 100 millions, 150, 200, 300, 400, even more than this. So what is the exact, as we can say in case of cattle or buffalo, still to be answered. And then semen deposit site. Because usually the left ovary is functional. 99% cases the pregnancy occur in the left horn, and in the ipsilateral horn insemination, deep intrauterine insemination at the body of the uterus. So these are the different experiments which has been carried out, and usually the insemination in the ipsilateral horn in camel, that is the recommended one. Then next technique is the embryo transfer, and this technique is used to increase the number of offspring from elite animals, and it is used for the storage and expansion of the rare genetic stock, and it reduces risk of the disease transmission, and there is rapid genetic gain with the embryo transfer. It was reported in llama in 1985 by the non-surgical, and in llama in 92. In alpaca in 1974, it was surgical because they are the small breeds, and there is interspecies. It was the cross of semen was of the Bactrian, and the female was dromedary, and it was reported in 2009, and in dromedary then 1994. And the different embryo freezing protocols still in progress, and it has been reported in 1994, 97, 2001, 2002, 2005 by the different scientists. But as we can say, in case of sheep and goat embryos, or in case of cow or buffalo embryos, for camel still work is in progress. And challenges to embryo transfer technology, there is a possibility for the superovulation failure, and high superovulation failure rate is there, and high rate premature regression of the follicle with the superovulation treatment that has been observed. High incidence of follicle luteinization before breeding, it affects the pregnancy. And then more studies on the follicular dynamic, intra-ovarian hypothalamo-pituitary regulation are needed to address the problem. Next is the in vitro embryo production. In vitro embryo production technology has been used to produce large number of embryos from the elite animals, and the factors like oocyte collection, oocyte maturation, semen preparation for the in vitro insemination, culture medium, and embryo culture conditions are the major factors affecting the IVEP results, especially in the camelids. Then the interspecies difference in the development and the oocyte maturation physiology do not allow the direct extrapolation of the IVEP protocols. So protocols which has been established for the other species cannot be implied as such on the camel. So in camelids, so generally are relatively limited information or little information is available on development of this technology, although the production of just production, not the pregnancy, of embryo were reported in 1994, 2004, 2005. And then the first IVEP calf in llama, it was reported in 1995. In dromedary, it was reported in 2006. And then there are different methods for the oocyte collection. It is ovarian slicing. In the South American camels, it was reported in 1995. And then in large camel oocyte collection was reported 2004, 2000, and then laparoscopic ovum pickup. And here there is 80% oocyte collection. It has been reported in 2005. Challenges: IVEP is not very efficient in camelids compared to other domestic animals, although increasing trend in research and publication has been observed in recent years. In last 10 to 20 years, of course, much has been done, but still the conclusive work that is in progress. Low availability of the slaughterhouse material and traditional camel management system are the major constraints in camelids IVEP development. More work is required on camel embryo freezing, as current results only show 20 to 30%. Some have shown 35, 40%, but not more than this freezing success. Then intracytoplasmic sperm injection, it is also a valuable tool for production of interspecies embryo, and it is excellent technique to save the endangered species. It has been reported in 2006, but that embryo could develop only up to morula stage in camelid embryo, not more than this. Then the cloning, it has been reported first time in 2003. It was oviductal transfer, but no success. And recently in 2020, by cloning, there is a report of birth of the camel calves, about 7 camel calves. So include camelid reproductive biology offers increasing challenges to scientists. Camelids are reported to have poor reproductive performance, but in fact, it is the only species who can maintain excellent reproductive performance under harsh conditions. In male camelids, spermatogenesis studies in relation to effect of season, ability to induce ovulation, and interaction with production characteristics, that is milk, meat, fiber, ability that is required, and studies on camelid study on camelid semen physiology, artificial insemination, embryo transfer, and IVP are limited. Data on freezing of the semen embryo is limited, and in female, the mechanism of luteolysis, maternal recognition of pregnancy remains unclear. So this area, this one, the mechanism of the lysis of the CL and maternal recognition of pregnancy, this area is very critical to understand the cause of high early pregnancy loss in camelids with poor AI, IVF, and IVEP results. Thank you very much.